Hello everyone and welcome to the next in our series of daily origami for YouTube. Today we're going to do another traditional model. We're going to do a variation of the jumping frog. Now for today's particular design, what's recommended is you use some paper that has a ratio of 2 to 3. So roughly, for example, doesn't have to be perfectly strict though. If you use letter paper, whether it be US letter or A4. A4 is a little longer, of course. You don't need to take this ratio super strictly. I'm going to go ahead and, of course, try to use my paper. So that means it's going to be 10 by 15 centimeters for my piece of paper. And I'll show you guys how to cut that if you have your regular paper here. I've got my paper. Let me put cap on my pen so it doesn't dry out. I've got my paper here. This is 15 by 15 centimeter paper. I want to get rid of just a third of it essentially so that my dimensions here are 10 and then my dimensions here will be still 15. The easiest way to find where a third is with your paper, you could just measure it with your ruler or you can fold it to find where a third is. What I like to do is just roll my paper around until I get a nice S shape. Then try to bring all these sides together, keeping everything kind of loose, until it gets this nice little curlicue kind of effect. And you want to just sort of shift things around and don't smush it down until you get to a point where everything is about at the same point. Pinch it and that gives you that mark of where a third is. Then I can fold over on that crease and match to the other point that I made. And that should give you what you need then to cut off so that you have the dimensions of the paper we need here. Let me get my scissors for hiding. Go. So I'm just going to cut off this part that I folded over. That was a third. So even though this is traditional Japanese origami, you're using a piece of paper that's not 15 by 15 centimeters. So we've got our little paper here with the dimensions that we need. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip my paper over and I'm going to create some creases here, and I've got them already kind of started here. You want to take the top edge and fold down to the outer side, creating a nice big triangle here. Then open it up and do the same thing going the other way too, creating a nice big triangle that goes from the tip, right top tip, all the way down. Open it up. Then we're going to take and create a crease that goes right through the two creases that we have in the middle. And the easiest way to make sure you're doing that is to take this tip and bring it right to where that crease line hits on the side here. Kind of line that up first, slowly smooth it along, and you should see that it should hit right at that point. You should get a nice perfect little triangle peak here from the creases that we look at. Make a good crease there. Go ahead and reverse that crease even too if you want to. Make that go backwards. And that'll help make everything kind of collapse the way we want it to. Bring everything into the middle and then put a little pressure on top so that everything flattens out and creates a nice triangle here at the top. Now from here I want to create my little froggy legs. So I'm going to take this flap and fold straight up, creating a triangle that goes right up to the top. Do the same thing on this side too, taking that, folding it straight up to the top. Now from here, take what we folded and return this edge now to the edge we just created here. And that's going to give us a nice little small little froggy leg. Do the same thing on this side too. So something that looks like this. Now from here, I want to take everything that's on the right side and fold it towards the center. Now the center is really just sort of an imaginary point, but we have it marked right here, and that's actually exactly where we're going to take this corner. It's just going to fold right over to that. Kind of hold that in place for a second before you make your crease, and then just make sure that this bottom part lines up even with itself, and then smooth up to the top. And you should notice when you do that, you should get a nice smooth edge here, and this edge that you create up here should be even with the edge that's behind it. Those should line up nice. So I'll do this one here too. And of course you've got the center here to kind of serve as a guide as you do this, but you want to bring that in and make a nice good crease so that we have a nice narrow kind of frog section here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create kind of a pleat or a zigzag fold so that I can take and fold a little of this down. And you don't want to fold it exactly in the middle. You want it to be just a little bit shy of that. So I like to just fold it up a little bit here. You can even make it even with the frog's legs there at the top. Make a good crease. And then take what you've got remaining and fold right down to that as well. And that should give you a nice good little pleat there for your froggy. And that's just the finished frog. Then you put a little pressure right here, just gently, and make him jump. And you can kind of play with, you know, how much angle you give here to make him jump. This little guy doesn't do the super leaping type. He's more of just a bouncy kind of frog. But he does jump pretty good. You could probably try to put the right moves on him here so that you can get him to kind of leap up into the air a little bit. But you could probably play with the angles there a little bit to create something more. I think in order to really get them to fly, you need to make the previous model that we did a while ago here that shows that uses more paper to create a thicker, kind of stronger little spring that you can then use to make the froggy fly forward. So dimensions for this little finished froggy are, let's see here, he's about, with everything tucked underneath, he's about 5.5 by 7, if you count his legs. So he's about 7 centimeters wide and about 5.5 centimeters tall. But that kind of gives you an idea of the finished dimensions of our little traditional jumping frog. And that is our finished project for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.